She humiliated her husband until she opened the envelope. Respect rarely disappears in one dramatic moment. It fades through tiny betrayals that pile up until there's nothing left to save. Scott noticed the change long before he admitted it. 6 months earlier, on their anniversary, he sat alone in an elegant restaurant while his wife, Lauren, texted that an important client had delayed her. He smiled, ordered dessert anyway, and believed her. That same evening, Lauren was in a luxury hotel rooftop bar, laughing with her boss, Ethan. Then came Scott's birthday. He cooked dinner himself, lit 2 candles, and waited. At 8 p.m., Lauren called with another excuse. "Emergency meeting. I'll make it up to you." She never did. Instead, Ethan handed her a velvet box containing an expensive diamond bracelet. Scott never searched through her phone. He never hired a detective. But he noticed the perfume that wasn't hers, the secret smiles at midnight, and the business trips that somehow doubled every month. Everything collapsed during the company's annual celebration. Standing before hundreds of employees, Lauren wrapped an arm around Ethan and lifted her champagne glass. "Here's to the man who believes in me," she announced proudly. "Success is impossible when you're married to someone who's afraid of taking risks." The room filled with uncomfortable laughter. Scott stood frozen. His own wife had turned him into the evening's joke. Without saying a word, he placed his untouched drink on the table and quietly walked away. That night, sitting alone inside his car, he finally accepted the truth. His marriage had ended long before the applause. Scott worked as the company's senior compliance manager. Days later, while reviewing expense reports for an unrelated audit, he discovered something impossible to ignore. Luxury hotel bills, private dinners, weekend flights. Every receipt had been approved as business expenses. Every date matched Lauren's work trips. He carefully documented everything and submitted the evidence through official corporate channels. Instead of thanking him, senior executives buried the report. "Ethan brings in too much money," one director admitted. "Forget what you found." Scott nodded politely. Then he quietly sent the same evidence to the company's external auditors. Within 2 weeks, investigators arrived. Financial records were seized. Email accounts were frozen. The board launched an emergency investigation. Ethan denied everything. To protect himself, he claimed Lauren had pursued him and arranged the private meetings herself. The woman who believed he would sacrifice everything for her became the easiest person to blame. By Friday, Ethan was fired for fraud. An hour later, Lauren was terminated for violating company ethics. Shaking, she called Scott again and again. When he finally answered, she cried. "He ruined my life," Scott replied softly. "No, Lauren. You both made your choices." She rushed home, hoping to explain everything. Instead, she found the house almost empty. His clothes were gone. His photographs were missing. Only a thick manila envelope rested on the kitchen counter. Inside were divorce papers, bank documents closing their joint accounts, and legal notice that ownership of the house had been transferred, according to their prenuptial agreement. At the bottom lay one handwritten note. "You laughed while I lost my dignity. I stayed silent while I reclaimed it." Lauren sank to the floor, surrounded by the silence she had created. Months later, Scott started over in a small apartment overlooking the city Screa. He never checked on Lauren. He never asked about Ethan. Some victories don't need applause. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't exposing someone's lies. It's becoming a stranger to the person who expected you to keep forgiving them forever.